Hey, how's everybody doing today? Today's lesson we're going to do a little something different. These are called scripture cookies, and there'll be a link to the video post here that shows where you need to go to actually find the recipe for this, but we're going to go over it and decided to be a little bit something different. I usually every once in a while do a cooking with kids class at church, and so we always try to pick a Bible story and do a cooking lesson with it. So these are the ingredients that you are going to need to do this, okay? So you're going to need a half a cup of honey. I've already got the honey measured out, so you'll need a half a cup of honey. You'll need salt, 1 stick of butter, okay? You're going to need 1 egg. You're going to need some cinnamon. You're going to need vanilla. You're going to need oats, the quick oats. You're going to need baking soda, some raisins, and our flour. Okay, so that's all the ingredients that you need. All right, so you can pause this if you want to, and then get your stuff and then join me back, but we're just going to kind of keep on trucking along. So this is what I'm going to do. So these are what scripture cookies are. Scripture cookies are a cookie recipe, and it has verses that go along with it, and these verses have the ingredients in it, okay? So I'm going to go through the verse here, and then I want you all to guess what ingredient goes into it, all right? So our first one is, our first verse, it's in Psalms 55:21, and it says, "His talk is as smooth as" what? What do you think that answer is? Okay, it's as smooth as butter. That's right, okay? So our next verse is, "How sweet your words to my taste, sweeter than what to my mouth." What do you think that one might be? Riley, what do you think that one is? What's sweet up here? The honey, okay? So it's sweeter than honey to my mouth. All right, our next verse is out of Isaiah, and it's 10:14. And it says, "As one reaches into a nest, so my hand reached for the wealth of the nations as people. Gathered, abandoned," what? And it is abandoned eggs. "So I gathered all the countries." Okay? Our next verse. "Walk in the way of love, just as Christ loved us and gave himself up for us, a" what offering? Anybody have a guess? It's fragrant, okay? The answer is fragrant offering, an acceptable sacrifice. Blessings to God. So our fragrant offering is going to be vanilla, because if you smell vanilla, it smells really good. Smell it, Raylan. Ah, yeah. So our fragrant offering is going to be vanilla. Our next verse, it's in Matthew 13:33. "The kingdom of heaven is like yeast that a woman took and mixed into about 60 pounds of" what? What do you think the answer of that is that we haven't used yet? Yep, the flour. Okay? Our next verse, it's Matthew 5:13. "You are the what of the earth." Bradley, can you pick up the salt and show them the salt up here? Rayleigh's my helper. She's down here lounging. So pick up the salt. Show Bubby over here that's recording for us the salt. It's the salt, all right? Jesus is the salt of the earth. All right, our next verse is, "A little what works through the whole batch of dough." And that's in Galatians 5:9. The answer is yeast. And what does yeast do in baking? Can anybody tell me? Yeast makes things rise, okay? So we're not using yeast in these cookies, so we're going to replace the yeast with baking soda. And baking soda will do the same thing, okay? It will make things rise. All right, our next verse is, I have perfumed my bed with myrrh and aloes and what? We're in Proverbs 7:17. It says, I have perfumed my bed with myrrh and aloes and what else? What else smells good that's up here? Riley, what do you think it is? Can you show them the cinnamon? Can you hold the cinnamon and show them? Yeah, it's the cinnamon. Okay? Our next verse is, there were plentiful supplies of flour, fig cakes, something cakes, wine, olive oil, cattle, and sheep, for there was joy in Israel. And that's in 1 Chronicles 12:40. Okay, and what might that be? It says there were plentiful supplies of flour, fig cakes, and what cakes? Raisin cakes. Okay, that's right. Our next verse. Others' seed fell among thorns, which grew up and choked the plants, so that they did not bear what? It's grain. Okay, can you show them the oats, Rayleigh? Show Bubby the oats over there. Okay, so oats is a form of grain. Okay, so to go through our recipe and how we make this is, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to take a half a cup of butter, which is 1 stick of butter. Okay, and we're going to put that into, yeah, you're going to help. So you're going to put that into your mixer, and then we're going to take our honey, which I said was how much again? It's a half a cup. Okay, so we're going to take and do a half a cup of honey into our mixer here.
I like honey.
You like honey? Okay. So then we're going to turn this on just for a second. We're going to let that mix up for a minute. Okay, so guys, like I said, I'll post you a link there's a recipe card that goes with this, and it has all the verses wrote out for you, but I'll post that link for you to be able to get to, so you know how much to put in there. Okay, so you have a half a cup, so we're going to let this mix up. It's a half a cup of honey and a half a cup of butter. Okay, so then the next thing we're going to do is our verse that came out of Isaiah 10:14, and it says, as one reaches into a nest, so my hand reached for the wealth of the nations. As people gathered abandoned eggs, so I gathered all the countries. Okay, so we're going to put 1 egg in here. Make sure you don't, thank you, Raylan, you don't get any shells. Okay, and you're going to mix that up just for a minute. And what I would suggest that you do is get you a spatula, and then, help me here, Rayleigh, just scrape the sides down good. Okay, and then we're just going to let that mix again for a second. All right, so while that is mixing, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a bowl, guys, and we're going to put in a cup of flour. Okay, so Rayleigh, you dump that in for us. Yep, cup of flour. Then we're going to put in a half teaspoon of salt. Okay, so you put that in, Rayleigh. Half teaspoon of salt. Our next thing is a half teaspoon of our baking soda. Okay, drop that in, Rayleigh. And then we're going to put in 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. And you'll probably have to go to the smaller spoon to get it in that hole there. So we're going to do 4 of these because I'm using the 4th thing. But we need a whole teaspoon. And a little extra up there, but kind of shake it off. Okay?
Mommy, we're making
cinnamon. And then we're going to put in 2 cups of oatmeal, okay? So we got 1, and then I'm gonna fill that all the way up. It's a little bit short, but that'll be okay. and then our oatmeal. And then we're gonna stir all of this stuff up.
Mommy, can I stir?
Here, you can stir it, Riley. Okay, good job. Okay, so we're gonna stir it up. Then what you wanna do is come over here to your mixer. And then you're just gonna add a little bit at a time, okay? So put that down, and then we're gonna mix it up.
Mommy, we're making cookies.
Yeah, we're making cookies. And then we're gonna do a little bit more. Okay. And then we're gonna do a little bit more. Okay. So you mix that up good. Now our last thing that we're gonna put in is our what? What haven't we put in yet? It's our raisins. So you remember that verse was, there were plentiful supplies of flour, fig cakes, raisin cakes, wine, oil, cattle, and sheep, for there was joy in Israel. And that's in 1 Chronicles 12:40, okay? So you need about a half a cup of raisins, and I'm gonna loosen these up down here a little bit. Okay? So we're gonna put the raisins in our mixer. And then we're just gonna let that stir up a little bit, like that. Oh yeah, and I forgot one ingredient in here is the vanilla. I'm glad Leighton pointed this out for me. You can go ahead and add it, it's okay. But the vanilla, that should have been put in with your wet ingredients, but like I said, you can add it now. But we're gonna do 2 teaspoons of vanilla, okay? So we're just gonna squeeze that in there.
Just a little bit more.
Yep. And then just go ahead and
Mommy, add that.
just let it mix up for a minute. It's okay, like I said, we didn't put it in there, but try to remember to put the vanilla in with your wet ingredients, okay? So we're gonna raise this up. And then what you need to do is get you your cookie sheet. And then I'm gonna line mine with a little bit of parchment paper. Now you don't have to do this. You can grease it down. You can spray a little non-stick spray on it, but I like using parchment paper. You also want to turn your oven on while you're doing this. Supposed to bake at 350. I'm using my convection oven, so I always turn it down to about 325 when I'm using the convection. But what you're gonna do is you're going to take your cookies. Let me get another one. I don't want to use that one. So you're gonna take a teaspoon, and then we're just gonna drop them, okay? So guys, what I want you to do is you're gonna go through here. You're gonna put as many cookies as you can on here. You're going to put this in the oven, an oven set on 350, and you're gonna bake it for about 8 minutes, okay? So we're gonna take a little break here, and then I'll join you back when we pull them out of the oven. Okay, see you in a few minutes. Hi, we're back. Like I said, we've cooked our cookies for about 8 to 10 minutes. You just need to take them out of the oven, or when your timer goes off, just check them. I like mine to be a little brown. Some people like them to be, you know, a little lighter colored. It's up to you, however you like them. But I hope you all have enjoyed this. Like I said, these are called scripture cookies. And you can make a game out of this. You know, just line up your ingredients on the counter, print off the scriptures, and have them, you know, pull them out, and then put the ingredient with the scripture that it goes with, and have them put it, you know, in order. So you can do a lot of different things with this. Just a little something different. Like I said, I hope you've enjoyed it. Rayleigh, let's try our cookies and see how they are. Now these have just come out of the oven, so they're going to be warm. So grab you a cookie. Take you a bite. And they're pretty good. You like them, Rayleigh?
Mm-hmm.
Are they a thumbs up? Give them a thumbs up. Okay? Have fun making them. And like guys, like I said, can't wait to see you all in person. Love you. Stay healthy. And till we see each other again. Bye.